Hello, everybody. How are you? It's time for another episode of Lyrics Explained. Now, this is going to be a hot one because this album has taken over the charts. It's Savage Mode 2. Now, in the Billboard 200 chart, it's now at number 2. Last week, it was at number 1. It peaked at number 1, of course, and has been on the charts only 2 weeks. And so many of you guys are saying, hey, jump on this, because here you have two of really the hottest talents in the hip-hop game. 21 Savage, of course, working with Post Malone and of course, his own hot tracks. But now, here with Metroboomin, now they've done other things. Of course, Savage Mode 1, which was an EP from 2016. This is the sequel. But Metroboomin on so many hits from different artists, one of the biggest producers in hip-hop. And here we have Savage Mode 2. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to go track by track so you can enjoy this great album even more. And let's just go right to number 1, intro. Now, this is a minute 10 of an introduction to what Savage Mode is all about. Now, a lot of that was explained in the EP in 2016, Savage Mode. And here you have Savage Mode 2 going further into depths about the techniques of Savage Mode, about the dimensions, about the philosophy of Savage Mode, which you really have to understand if you want to get into this music as much as you can. So what they're talking about is really the thought process of somebody that's a true savage. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm a savage. Okay, I'm savage, meaning they're intense or they're cool or they're like in beast mode. But savage mode is so much more than beast mode. You have beast mode and then savage mode. And to really get into savage mode, okay, let's say you're in a tennis match against somebody that's known for their beast mode. You got to come in at savage mode. And to do that, you have to understand the philosophy of Savage Mode, which you can pick up when you get into the depths of this album and listen to it 200, 300, 400 times. You're going to increase your Savage Mode, and therefore, before the match starts, you're going to be over Beast Mode. So it's something to consider, no matter if you're in athletic competitions or other competitions, depending on your discipline, your niche, your business. This is something to consider. And they talk about that right at the beginning here in the intro. Just a minute 10, but there's a lot of information packed in that first track. Now, number 2 is Runnin'. And Runnin' is an ode to running marathons, because really what you're talking about when you're running a marathon is not only beating the other people in the competition, people in your age group, but it's beating your own limitations. And so this is a 3-minute and 16-second track that talks about what we all have to do to go beyond our own limitations to reach higher heights in our competition with ourselves. And really, it's that old philosophy of, I'm not competing with you. I'm competing with the old me. And what that means is every day we're trying to improve ourselves. Some people call it the 1% growth strategy. Every day, you try to be 1% better. And the running game, if you've ever run and had your knees hurt, your head hurts, everything hurts. After, let's say you're doing a marathon, 26 plus miles. After 5 miles, everything hurts. Your bones hurt, your eyeballs hurt, the inside of your eardrums, the follicles of your hair. Even if you barely have any hair like me, each follicle is its own pain center, which gets worse as the marathon continues. So Runnin' explores that pain and tells you that beyond that pain is victory. And it teaches you not only in the song about the mental philosophy, but they give you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strategies you can use to make your running better. Number 3 on the track list is Glock in My Lap. Now, this song talks about when you go through the fast food drive-thru and they mistake your order. So you order 2 chicken sandwiches at Chick-fil-A. Nothing else. No specials, no fries, no sodas. You just get 2 sandwiches. And you're going through the drive-thru, and of course at Chick-fil-A, they have people outside, just like they do at In-N-Out and many other restaurants, people outside taking orders. So you order 2 chicken sandwiches, and then the attendant says, okay, that'll be $5.30, pull it around. So you pull up, and right away you're thinking, well, that didn't sound right. $5, is it 2 for one day, or did I not get something right? And of course, she thought you only ordered 1 chicken sandwich. So you think, well, whatever, at least I'll get my chicken sandwich, I'll take care of my hunger, and you start to pull away from the Chick-fil-A, okay, with only 1. You wanted 2, but 1's good. Here we go. I'm going to eat. I'm going to get rid of this headache that's from hunger. And you start to unwrap the chicken sandwich in your lap at the stoplight, at the first stoplight, and you have got it made. Before it turns green, you've unwrapped the whole thing. Now you can eat it with confidence, driving down the road with 1 hand. And what happens? It falls on the floor. It slips off your lap and falls on the floor, getting Chick-fil-A sauce all over the floor. Now, fortunately, you have rubber mats because you live in a weather volatile area where it's going to rain and maybe snow, so you got the rubber mats. But now you don't have anything to eat, and you're still hungry. So that's what the GLOCK in my lap is all about. GLOCK is the junk, the mass of tomatoes and onions and Chick-fil-A sauce and everything on the floor in a big heaping pile. And it's also your frustration and sadness that your beautiful sandwich is now a big pile of junk on the floor. That's called a GLOCK. So the GLOCK in your lap is now on the floor, and why? Why does this happen? Now, number 4, Mr. Right Now, featuring Mr. Hits, Drake the Hit Machine. That was Drake's handle in high school when he was on MySpace. He had a little sub name there, a little tag name called The Hit Machine, and boy, did that turn out to be true. So Mr. Right Now talks about when you're growing up and your parents ask you to do something. Now it's called Mr. Right Now, referring to fathers, but of course it could also be mothers. And they say, hey, do this activity, do this chore, take care of this situation. And you are watching your favorite TV show as a kid. So you say, okay, I'll do it. And you continue to watch the TV. And then they say, right now, do it right now. All right. All of a sudden, they're Mr. Right Now. But when you need something done, you're put off. Okay. You get in line behind your other brothers and sisters and their needs. But all of a sudden, they want a chore done. And because you're in their visual proximity, because you're watching TV, they ask you to do it. And when you hesitate 4 seconds, just so you can get to the commercial so you don't lose the plot of the throw, they're like, right now, mister. And all of a sudden they become Mr. Right Now, Mrs. Right Now, Ms. Right Now. And not thinking about your needs at all. Now, number 5 on the track list in Savage Mode 2 is rich guy stuff. Rich guys operate differently than you and I. Now, you think, well, that's because they're rich. They have servants, they have butlers, they have drivers, they have concierges, they have masseuses, personal trainers. They can take care of their lives, and that's true to a certain extent. But now think about it. When you're rich, you now have many more headaches. Security becomes not only for yourself, but for your art, for your cars, for your homes, for your jets. Everything has a key. Now, you might have an assistant that carries the keys, but let's say you have 4 homes, 3 planes, you have your own personal art museum, you have a number of boats. So now you have, let's say, 47 keys for all these different things. What, you gonna put them on one of those rings like at the gas station, like at the convenience store? You ask you to use the restroom, and they say, yeah, go ahead, here's the key, and it's on some giant ring that looks like an earring for Cardi B. Number 6 is SLIDIN. Now, this talks about their love of White Castle sliders. Now, if you don't know White Castle, it's a very popular fast food hamburger restaurant with headquarters in Columbus, Ohio. Now, if you don't know White Castle, they were one of the first, if not the first, fast food restaurants, fast food hamburger chains to feature mini hamburgers, what they call sliders. And that's why this track is called SLIDIN. And a lot of times in the young music community, the hip-hop community, the rockers, even some folk artists who go out late at night, of course, it's a late-night lifestyle. Well, where do you go after the show when all the fans have left and you've signed everything that they wanted you to sign? You're hungry. And in a lot of places, they're going to go to White Castle and get some sliders late night, all right? So the challenge with these smaller hamburgers is, well, how many do I order? Do 4 small sliders equal 1 regular hamburger? Or so, in other words, should I get 8 hamburgers if I normally get 2? Well, White Castle has their Big Craves. And Big Craves answer that question with good deals. Like, for example, the Crave Clutch. And that's any 20 sliders. All right, the Crave Clutch, you get 20 sliders. So maybe you want to go in it with your buddy. But maybe you're alone. You just want to go, get some sliders, and get home. You still have the same problem. How many do I order? Well, maybe you want to get a Castle Pack 7. This is right off of their website. You get 10 sliders, 2 small fries, and two small soft drinks. You say, well, that sounds like it's for 2 people. Well, just put it in the fridge. Eat it in the morning. Don't make things complicated. Now, there's the Castle Pack 8, which is 10 original sliders, a sack of chicken rings, and a sack of fries. That might be the way to go. Maybe you've got sodas at home. Maybe you don't drink soda. You've got some waters at home, or you just want to drink tap water. That's up to you. Now, there's the Castle Pack 9, guys, which is 20 original sliders and 4 small fries. So what am I saying? Now you have your after-show meal, and you've got breakfast in the morning. I mean, it's the way to go, and that's the dilemma that we all face when we're at White Castle late night, and that's what this song is all about. Number 7 on the track list is Many Men, number 7 on Savage Mode 2, and this song talks about the long hours in the studio and on the road that many hip-hop artists go through, and how these 2 artists, we're talking about Metroboomin, the producer, and 21 Savage, the performer, and how they developed the love of chess to get through those long hours, those boring times where you're waiting on planes, you're waiting on buses, you're waiting on the rest of the crew to show up at the studio, or you just need a break during a long recording session. And it talks about giving up pawns on your strategy to try to overtake your opponent on your way to checkmate. And the question is, how many pawns, how many men are you willing to give up for victory? A very interesting song. Number 8 on the track list is the interlude before the number 9 song. The number 9 song, Snitches and Rats, and this is the interlude before that song. And the reason for an interlude at this point is that when you have a piece of art of this scope, it's a lot for the listener to take in. You want to have that little break right before you launch into the second half. And let's go right to it. It's number 9, Snitches and Rats, featuring Young Nudie. Now, both these artists are doing very, very well in the hip-hop game. And with that comes the revenue, the income, the moolah that big stars get. Now, what do you do with that money? Well, these 2 guys invested in Arena Football League teams. Okay, so you had the Snitches and you had the Rats. Now, both of them were on the East Coast. You had the Philadelphia Snitches and the New York Rats. And these guys were franchise owners. And this song talks about the trials and tribulations of trying to bring those bottom-dwelling, those cellar-dwelling teams to the championship level that they're at now. It's a very interesting song talking about the high-stakes game of big-time Arena Football League moving and shaking. And so there you go. Number 9 on the track list, a very fascinating song. Number 10 on the track list is My Dog. Now, if you're not familiar, this is another sports-related song. If you're not familiar with the Cleveland Browns, they've long been known as the Dogs, and for a long time had the Dog Pound. And we're not talking about DOG or DOGG. We're talking about DAWG, my dog. So they have a friend on the Cleveland Browns, and this song talks about calling my dog and giving him a hard time every time the Browns lost. Now, as you can imagine, back in the day, even more recently, that's been a lot of phone calls. Calling up and going, my dog, what happened? You guys lost again. And in fact, in one season, there were 15 different calls, maybe 16 different calls when the Browns were really having some difficulties. Now they're turning the corner, but that's what that song is all about. But Steppin' On, people, talks about the political shenanigans that go on in the hip hop game. Now, when you buy your favorite artist's music and you put it on and you're head bopping in the car. Maybe you got this kind of a bop going, or maybe you got kind of a crisscross bop, or maybe you're kind of a figure eight bop or like that, right? It doesn't really matter. You're just enjoying the music. But until you get close to the community, until you can see the political shenanigans, the castle building and the fights and the fisticuffs and the battles and the pressure, the unbelievable pressure that artists are under to perform, and the competition. I mean, how many hip-hop artists have been 3-week wonders? They did great, and then you never heard from them again. And perhaps now they're an accountant, or they're working in the city government or something. Number 12 on the track list is Brand New DRACO. Now, this is interesting because as big-time artists, especially in as an appealing genre as hip-hop, where so many consumers follow their big stars like 21 Savage and, of course, Metro Boomin, big-time brands are aware of that. They want to use their celebrity power to sell new products. And, of course, Ford, when they built the DRACO, called 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, knowing the Savage 2 was in production, and they said, would you like to have a brand new car in return for getting a mention on your album? So what is a DRACO? A DRACO is basically a Ford Taurus that is made with gull wing doors, much like you might see on an old DeLorean. It's sort of a souped up, much more hip Taurus with tremendous horsepower. And of course, these gull wing doors that announce when you pull up in your souped up Taurus and the gull wing doors slowly open at the club, people step back and they go, who is that in that DRACO? Which leads us to number 13 on the track list, No Op Left Behind. Now, what's an op? Well, of course, it's opportunity. And what he is saying in this song, and what they're saying in the song, is that you don't want to give up any opportunity on your way to success. Even though the majority of them may not work out, you've got to say yes. You've got to get out of the habit of saying no. You got to get up in the habit of saying yes, taking risks, expecting to lose. No opportunity left behind, because what happens when you take opportunities? What happens when you take risks that may not work out and you may look like a fool in front of your friends? Well, you learn. See, there's really no losing. There's winning and there's learning. Every time you don't win, you learn. And how do you win? By learning. So there's really no loss. Every time you take an opportunity to improve your skills, to take a step forward, to learn something new, you're that much closer to victory. Now, number 14 on the track list is R.I.P. Love, Rest in Peace Love. And this is 21 Savage in a very heartfelt song talking about when you love and your heart just gets squashed and you end up becoming bitter. For example, how many times have you enjoyed a certain special at IHOP, and there's been no indication that they're going to pull that special because it's been up for 2 months. It's almost a permanent part of the menu, but then they pull the special and you come in one Sunday and you order it again, expecting that delicious combination of flavors that you've gotten used to. And the waitress says, I'm sorry, that special is no longer available. And you look down at the table first, and then you look up at her and you say, are you serious? And you feel that knot in your chest, and that's your heart being squashed by IHOP. when they pull a special and don't even really give you any advance warning. Number 15 on the track list, and the final song on Savage Mode 2 is Said and Done, which continues the theme of bitterness and betrayal introduced in the previous track, Rest in Peace, Love. And then Said and Done, they expand the theme by talking about when you are in a relationship that is lock solid, that you guys are a unit moving through the world as a team, complementing each other's strengths, and what you expect to be a relationship for the rest of your life. And then you're walking through the club and you see them at a table talking to somebody that you don't know who they are. And they're not just talking, they're uncomfortably close. And as you get closer, you see she has one leg up on the guy's leg. They're sitting so close, she's put one leg up on his leg. Now, it's not her cousin. It's not her brother. It certainly isn't her uncle or any co-worker. And no matter who it is, that is way too close. They proceed to say that you don't trust them. And you say you still haven't answered the question. Who was that dork? And it just spirals out of control. And what was a world-class relationship is now in shambles, dashed on the rocks of bitterness and betrayal. Well, guys, that's track number 15 and the final track on Savage Mode 2. I went track by track and explained the lyrics behind these songs so that you can enjoy them even more. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and come on back. You think this was fun? We have so much more fun to go with tons of new music to explore and examine the lyrics in the next Lyrics Explained. I'll see you then.